All right, so this is the Friday work for week 3. Here is the title of the journal article. So if you didn't pick it up in class, you can find it. It is in the NACTA journal. I believe it's volume or issue 58, volume 4. You can find that on the university library website. So when we start looking at some generational things, you're going to be entering into a workforce where your employer will most likely be of a different generation or older generation than you are. And so I think this is a fun graphic to kind of take a look at some of the generational differences. We're drawing some conclusions on older people versus younger people and how their week progresses and what we choose to do on the weekends. So interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is any interaction or any communication within a more intimate group. So between two, uh, more three or more people, kind of in a more smaller setting. Where mass communication would be talking to a very large audience. Interpersonal communication is still small enough and intimate enough to where you're still receiving some communication from everyone in that group. So we're going to see some differences in interpersonal communication when you come into the workforce, as well as general communication. Things are going to be different. You're going to be utilizing certain methods of communication differently from your employer or maybe some of your older peers that you're working with. Obviously, computers is the first thing that comes to mind when we think of differences between the generations that you're going to be encountering. So if you have an older generation that is your boss, you're going to see some differences. Character, I think we can see some similarities within character, but think about things that you think are okay, that you think are acceptable, and be prepared for differences when you do get into the workplace. Those are all going to be things that you're going to have to navigate. And I think this one's still pretty funny, but there's going to be technical areas that are going to be more difficult for different generations to grasp a hold of that you might think are pretty easy. So let's dive into the research journal article. So the overarching goal of this research was to take a look at um, how our students are prepared compared to what the employer is looking for. And so we wanted to kind of help increase this communication between graduate student advisors and potential employers. So are we preparing students for what the employers want? So there's a few objectives for this study, and you can see them up on the screen. But once again, thinking about, are our students prepared, and are we preparing our students to meet the expectations of their future employer? And then you can see in that fourth one, kind of determine the value of experiential education. And experiential education, experiential learning is very much hands-on. And if we learned anything from your VARC exercise, is that the majority of you are kinesthetic learners, and so you probably prefer to learn through experiential learning more so than any other type of learning. So employability skills, these are skills relating to choosing a career, getting and keeping a job, making job and career changes and career advancement. So this is just one example of employability skills. We can take a look at some previous research. This one is from Graham 2001. 2001 indicates the year that this this research was published in a journal. So this kind of talks about preparedness in university graduates, and how prepared they are to go into an entry level position related to agriculture. This is the journal article that coined the term on the job awkwardness, which is potentially explained by needed growth in the new employees slash recent graduates. And you can see a recommendation there in that last bullet point. So he wanted people to continue this type of research. For the methodology, they use the Plains Nutrition Council members. So these are people within the fed beef industry. You can see that they had 129 people participate in the study who were the ones making the hiring decision. So in some capacity, they were a boss. So they presented them with a bunch of different items, and these items were things like interpersonal items, communication, computer, character, or technical areas of curriculum. So these were skills. And the people participating in the study, the people making the hiring decisions, were asked to kind of rate these in either preparedness or preparation um, of the students that are coming into their career, their industry, and the importance that the employer placed on them. So you can see the options that they were given. So for each item, for each skill, they were asked how prepared is the student that you just hired, and what's the importance of that skill. So these are the items that were the highest, ranked the highest, and as far as preparedness. So they felt that students were very prepared to use the internet, which should be no surprise. So the top three were computing skills, and then pay attention to integrity, honesty, and dependability. So for objective 2, we see the top 3. This is importance. Employers wanted or ranked these the most important: integrity, honesty, and dependability. So we can see that those 3 were ranked in the top 10 for preparedness and then for level of importance. So this is the coursework, and we can see the means for nutrition. Obviously, that's an important field or important technical piece of curriculum that students need to have if they're going into the fed beef industry, to have some type of leadership skills, and to have some type of research methodology understanding. Have that in your back pocket under your belt. All right, objective 3. This methodology, what it does is it looks at the difference. So what area are the most important and students the least prepared in? And so that comes, here's kind of the ranking for that. So problem solving, integrity, dependability, and once again, this character item, honesty, appears in the top 10. So these are some areas that we need to work on to prepare our students more for. So by category, these are the 5 categories, if you remember. So there's the largest discrepancy between employability or the largest discrepancy between students' preparedness and employers' importance, value of the importance that they place on that discrepancy. So it was pretty high. So character is an area we need to work on. Computer skills. This is something that we shouldn't worry about. Y'all are well prepared for it. Same thing with technical competency. Y'all are well prepared for it. But this is an area that we should work on according to these results. Objective 4, you can see how important these experiential learning opportunities are to the employer. So internships, previous employee, and work experience, once again, are extremely important. So conclusions. So we had 41 items, 41 skills that our employers were presented with. And so there's one item that that came back as unprepared, and that was the ability to speak a second language. So our students, you graduating, are unprepared to speak a second language. Another conclusion, students were rated as most prepared in computing skills, along with biological sciences, and understand and follow directions. All these 3 skills were tied to character. Employers rated 36 items higher in importance than preparation. And then most valued coursework was nutrition, followed by leadership out of the 11 course options that they were presented with. So integrity, honesty, and dependability was valued above all other items by employers. Understanding, following directions, listening, initiative, and problem solving were the ones that followed after it. Along with character items, problem solving, decision making, management, business skills, and initiative showed the most room for growth. So these are areas that we should strive to prepare you more for. So implications, you can see that our students are prepared, but there is room for improvement. And so that's one of the reasons that this course that you're enrolled in right now is so important, so we can help develop some of those skills and prepare you more for the field that you're going to enter into, not from a technical curriculum, so not from the skills that you need to learn to have that technical knowledge, but for some of the soft skills. So once again, recommendations, help develop that character aspect of student development, work on communication a little bit more, general work experience, so through experiential learning opportunities for you, develop leadership skills, provide you opportunities to grow as a leader, and try to move past that on-the-job awkwardness, get you past that. And I think through training and then some of these initiatives that we can create, we can help you move through that stage faster. All right, so once again, there's the NACDA Journal article if you'd like to look it up, if you don't have the paper copy in front of you. So read that article, seek clarification, and answer the questions that are on WT class.